Hi everybody, Alexander here. People are roused up by what's going on in Ukraine and in Kiev, so I'm here to give my perspective of that, discuss a few things like what is Ukraine about, the people there, and a couple of the players in the arena right now. Kiev and the Christian Authority, Kievo-Pечерская Lavra, played a big role in the flowering of Slavic nations. It was Kiev that was formerly the capital of all Slavic nations before Moscow was. So it's kind of like New York being the former capital of the United States, where now it's Washington, D.C. But unlike United States, Slavic territory is big and it's mostly unmanageable and surrounded by enemies. And these enemies are on ground, they're not across oceans. So managing the situation is pretty difficult. So after multiple assaults by various armies, it was not geographically wise to keep investing in Kiev as the capital city, so that's how it pretty much lost its former power and glory. For foreigners to understand what Ukraine is about is truly impossible until you visit that country. Because like most of Russia and all Slavic nations, you have like a city where the inner city, there's a lot of business, culture, and it's very beautiful there. And on the perimeters, you have just constant binge drinking people. They're just depressed people sitting around and just drinking. So this drinking is called pianka, and then you have this national drink called samagon, which is rotting their brains. And with the highest rate of childhood alcoholism is to truly grasp what this means for human life, you must sit down with them for a week and drink with them, and then you'll be able to internalize what this is about. By nationality, language, and spirit, Ukraine and Russia are the same people. Like two brothers with different wives and a long stretch of cornfields and villages in between, they developed a different jargon and flipped 2 or 3 letters around in their alphabet. So once you leave the city on one of the cardinal roads, it's like going into the desert, except instead of sand, you get cornfields. Cornfields upon cornfields upon sunflower fields upon sunflower fields and more sunflower fields. And you'll get this for days, just fields. And between the fields there's some villages sometimes. And per dozen villages, you'll get a town again. And from this standpoint of just traveling on one road, left and right is just fields, and per dozen villages there's a town. It's kind of difficult to tell where does Ukraine end and Russia begin when people are speaking the same language, they relate to each other like brothers, and to them it really doesn't matter which government is over them because they live in a village. Looking to blame or help from foreign lands, our dear Chachli are inviting foreign forces to answer their calls. Now, for everyone pointing fingers at outside of Ukraine and telling them, oh, come in, help us, or don't help us, you're inviting people into your house. And the house was not kept in order, so devils come in and do their due, as they always do. One man is powerless without a greater truth behind them, or a well-conscripted empire of paid-off souls, numbered soldiers, and well-funded artillery. In this situation, no one is in the right because there is no voice which speaks to the Ukrainian soul as a leader and moves the people as so. Right would be if Ukraine was left alone for self-determination, but life and the powers there are not going to let this happen. The land is too fertile, the women are too beautiful, and in the world it's a chance for provocation, and some people just really love that because there's a lot of money to be made in that. I'm not against peaceful protests, but the disgraceful human trash who is on the streets destroying Kiev should not be getting support but jail sentences. For anyone who thinks destroying and burning a city with Molotovs and making an ugly scene will help Ukraine, this brain should be jailed or deported before it destroys any more of Kiev's architecture, culture, and decency. And it's kind of funny because the coup that was used to oust the former president is now out of control, and if you know that situation, it's just because of racial tension between who's leading them right now and the radicals. Anyone who understands the slightest bit about Ukrainian politics or just politics in general, it is clear that Ukraine's leadership is an absolute disgrace for its people. At the needs of Russia or United States, it can't find a pair of its own, so it's calling for other people for leadership. And as we could see what Ukraine has right now, that's what it asked for. With Ukraine having the highest rates of childhood alcoholism, the average village or town residents need to pull the bottle out of their child's mouth before they even come close to dissecting the laws and policies that politicians are and are not moving. A Ukrainian national who is not hung on the bottle, not in poverty caused from laziness, politically and academically inclined, one who understands the precise details of the political structure and how to make things better for Ukraine. Pretty much everything someone would need to be in order to have authority in Ukraine would not be rioting in Kiev. They would not be part of these rallies that are designated just towards pure destruction. There's nothing for this person to do in Kiev, right? Because real changes are incurred through talking with other leaders, moving social programs, promoting ideals and things only this individual is qualified to control at any given time. Just remember that Kievan Rus held well for a long time already, and will be here after your generation, reflecting forever on its walls into history, a sold-out brute. One who put bullets through their brothers since their brain was too dull from alcohol to reach out to their family with words and your heart. I wash my hands, and I understand I'm powerless here. Any discussion of which government should come and help or condemn Ukraine touches my heart in the same way as it would if I were to pick which stranger would be sleeping with my mother tonight. So, I won't.